Hey guys, here I am again, Barry with Barry's 8-Track and Classic Car Radio Repair. And old beat up shirt, crappy hair, and cigarette in hand means I'm not demonstrating a customer's unit. It's Saturday. I pretty much got the day off. I'm doing what I want to do, so I don't have to dress well or look nice. But the reason for this video is okay. I just bought this unit. This unit was on eBay for $30 with free shipping, amazingly. Why? Because the seller said it eats tapes. Bonus score. You probably know by now that tape eating with the 8-track cartridge format is never ever a fault with the machine. It is always a fault of the cartridge. Everything that can cause tape eating that's normally on a cassette unit, a VCR unit, or even a reel-to-reel, all that stuff is contained in the 8-track cartridge. The 8-track cartridge has both your supply and take-up reel. It has your clutch, and it has your roller that advances the tape. All that stuff is outboard on with the other formats. So if you see a machine on eBay for really cheap because it eats tapes, there still may be other stuff wrong with it, but tape eating is not one of them. The only reason a machine would eat a tape is if the owner fails to keep the capstan clean and free of sticky residue, like from old rubber rollers that have melted and stuff. So I saw this machine on eBay, and it's like, it eats tapes. Okay, I'm buying it because I know that's not a problem with the machine. Now there are other problems with this machine. Or were other problems with the machine, but anyway, this is a really weird machine. Well, for one thing, it's much smaller than it looked in the picture, which I like very much because I very seldom use the word cute when describing an 8-track. Player, but this is just a cute little recording deck, man. I just love it. It's got a cosmetic issue. It's missing the little trim thing that goes around the tape opening. That's why it looks kind of crappy in that area. Probably had like a black plastic thing that snaps in there, like on the Pioneer HR99 and HR100. It's easy enough to make something that can go over that, and cover that cosmetic blemish there. But there's some really weird things about this tape deck. Okay. For one thing, it has a button called check. You press this button, and the tape player comes on and starts moving just like it's playing a tape. There's no need for this button. I mean, you plug a tape in to see if it works. I mean, checking it. What's the sense in running the doggone thing fully functional without a tape inserted just to check if it works? I mean, here's how you check if the doggone thing works. You pop a tape in, and you wait a few minutes and see if you start getting sound. So this is a completely useless and asinine button to put on an 8-track player. Okay, the next thing. Okay, this does have the cool feature of auto stop. It's got fast forward, which I never recommend using because it can jam tapes really easily. Tapes really need to pack evenly as they're played, and so fast forwarding a tape will pack it more tightly in that section of the tape, and that can cause jams. And it's also got your continuous and repeat modes. Okay, it's a recording deck naturally. It's got a recording button, but it's got a button called reset. Okay, now you would think that this would have something to do with the auto stop. If it auto stops and you want to keep playing it without pulling the tape out and reinserting it, you can just press reset and then the tape will start playing again. Nope, that's not what it is at all. It is a really, really strange thing. But so to demonstrate this stuff, I'm just going to go ahead and pop in the tape and start playing it. Hopefully, keeping the songs of short enough duration that I go ahead and don't get nailed for copyright issues. Let's just go ahead and pop this sucker in. I mean, I've got it working well enough to that it runs it close to the correct speed and produces sound on both sides. These pots were both so scratchy that they didn't let any music through. It was nothing but. So I cleaned those, and that's taken care of. Let's go ahead and pop tape in, and I'm going to demonstrate this crazy reset function. It's just crazy. Takes a while to come up, as you can see. Okay, running through all tracks. That was interesting. well, obviously there's some weird little problem that I need to find causing that buzzing sound. But let's go ahead and I'm gonna show you what this reset button does. Okay, I'm gonna put this machine. I'm just using a tape that's nothing but pink noise. It sounds like so you'll know when that's coming through. But I'm going to put this is not a really important tape because I made another one that's better. So I'm just going to start recording on this tape. And, for an input signal, I'm just going to use myself as an antenna to pick up the surrounding AC hum and touch the input terminal so that you can hear it click and buzz a little bit, indicating that it's recording and passing the signal through. So let's go put this puppy in recording mode. Pop the tape in. Okay, we're recording now. Alrighty, let the meters die down a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to turn up the level, maybe too high. I'm just going to touch the input terminal. Okay, you heard that. And now you hear it on the right side. So it's picking up the signal, it's recording, and it's passing it through to the through to the speakers. Now what happens when we press reset? It just goes out of recording mode and continues in playback mode. Why? Why? Why would anyone do that? That's ridiculous. Here you're recording, okay, it's one of your favorite records, and you're capturing it off a vinyl onto an 8-track tape so you can listen to it in your car while you're cruising, and okay, the album side's complete, so you want to pause it, and so you can turn the album over, and continue recording. There's no pause button on this thing. A pause button is nothing more than a switch that cuts power to the motor when you press it. This could have easily been made a pause. This crazy check button that performs the absolutely useless function of powering up the machine as if it's playing when there's no tape in it could easily be converted to a pause button where you press it, well, no, it doesn't lock in place, so you can't really pause it for an extended length of time. But you could at least hold on to it long enough to flip the record, and release it to start your recording it. But no, here you're in the middle of recording, and you're thinking, okay, I don't know. I mean, if you're recording, and this is a pretty easy button to press. If you're in the middle of recording and you accidentally press this button, the recording stops and the tape just keeps on going, so that you lose your place in the recording and you have to wait for the darn thing to cycle all the way around again to find that spot. This is just a crazy, useless, and asinine feature, if you ask me. I have no idea what the purpose of it could possibly be, along with this silly check button that all it does is turn the machine on. It doesn't lock in place, so it's not a power switch. It just allows you to temporarily see if the machine's working, which you can do by doing this. Give me some, baby. Okay, something. There we go.
The moon is bright, Alice in Wonderland. For love.
All right, so this is a pretty decent deck. It's got kind of a dull sound. It's probably kind of a low-end recorder. It's made by a company called Playback, and what this says to me is like okay, during the 70s, everybody and their brother was wanting to purchase a license from Learjet, start a company, crank out a couple thousand 8-track players, and get the hell out of it before they had to deal with the warranty issues. That's what I suspect. All your recording decks, I mean, I've seen names like Fulton, Playback, really any name you could think of, people have used to identify, the temporary brand of an 8-track player. And so that's what I think this is too, is just one of those things like, hey man, 8-tracks are really big right now. We got a little bit of capital money. Let's open up a factory, design an 8-track player, crank out a few thousand, take the money and walk away laughing. That's what I suspect was going on with this deck. And it's not a bad deck, but it's just got the weirdest features I've ever seen on an 8-track deck. I have no idea what the designer had in mind when he put this check button in there and this reset button in there. The reset button is absolutely useless. It would have been much more sensible and beneficial to put a pause button so that you can pause recording, flip the album, continue recording. But there's no really way to pause the recording unless you just, there's no way to pause the recording except to pull the tape out and then put it back in, which is kind of silly though. I mean, so this is not a bad little deck. It's a cute little deck, but it's got some really strange design features. But at any rate, I just wanted to kind of show you, this really strange deck. And, since it's a machine that I am repairing, it qualifies as a demo video that I can use for promotional reasons on YouTube. So that's why I'm doing this video. Well, that's one of the reasons I'm doing the video, but I'm also sharing with you guys just how crazy the 8-track world can be at times. Unable to locate any service information on that, the specs or anything like that. I just have to, kind of wing it by feel as I go through this thing and get it all, properly working. But I just want to share with you guys some of the crazy things I run into in this line of work, man. I have no idea what these buttons are for. They're there and they work, but they perform an absolutely useless purpose. So, I want to stop ranting because you're probably getting tired of hearing me rant, so I'll just say, I'm Barry with Barry's 8-Track and Classic Car Radio Repair. To reach me for service, please visit the website in the description below, and please download and print the work order so that you can read my prices, options, and turn times before calling me to ask me those questions. Especially as my business continues to grow, my workload gets heavier and heavier. I'm the only guy in the world who can install a brand new motor in an 8-track player. I'm the only guy in the world who builds a new head preamp to improve the sound instead of using the old head preamp when I'm doing a radio conversion. So my business, as people, more and more people get wind of this, my business steadily increases. So I do ask that you do that research and read my work order before calling me with a bunch of questions. After that, I'm happy to talk to you. Thanks for watching and listening. Thank you to my eBay seller for basically sending me a tape deck for free, after shipping cost. It's a deck that I can use for my own enjoyment. I don't listen to 8-tracks as a hobby, just so you guys know. I'm not an 8-track enthusiast. I am an 8-track technician and specialist. I don't listen to 8-track tapes in my spare time, okay? The only time I'm listening to 8-track tapes is when I'm testing a customer's unit. I have nothing against the format. I've just been a musician and songwriter for long enough to be completely tired of 3-chord rock and roll, and I just don't really care to hear that kind of music in my spare time. I'd rather watch TV, hockey games, stuff like that, cuddle with the cats, abuse the wife, whatever comes to mind that seems fun. So thanks again for watching and listening, and we'll see you guys next time. This deck is crazy, man, but I like it.